As if the upcoming election couldn't be even more chaotic, now Democrats and Republicans are squabbling over whether the president should fulfill his constitutional duty and nominate a Supreme Court justice to fill the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat. It's just the latest in the saga in the swamp, and it'll only get swampier from here. Every 4 years, Americans elect a president on the Tuesday after the first Monday in November. And it seems that each election cycle, the election gods deliver an October surprise, an event nobody saw coming, an event that has tidal wave impact on the imminent presidential election. Some October surprises are natural in their roots, a sudden death or an arrest. Some are more man-made than naturally occurring. In 1972, 12 days before the election, the Nixon administration declared the end of the very unpopular Vietnam War. Needless to say, Nixon won. 8 years later, and just days before the election, challenger Ronald Reagan took credit for getting American hostages released from Iran. Reagan beat incumbent President Jimmy Carter in a landslide. Most political junkies like me credit Reagan's October surprise for the victory. October surprises are a much anticipated event in presidential politics. Obama's previously unknown brother, Romney's Hurricane Sandy, an inopportune audio from a bus, all October surprises. This cycle's October surprise just happened. Yep, just a little bit early. The sudden death of Supreme Court icon Ruth Bader Ginsburg is likely this cycle's October surprise, albeit a late September event. RBG was tiny in stature, but a giant in jurisprudence. Not only was she well-loved among liberal Democrats, Bader Ginsburg was adored as a cultural phenomenon. She became known as Notorious RBG for her hipness, drive, and good nature. Personally, I found her refreshingly honest, completely genuine, and beyond all, she administered her decisions and opinions with a fairness rarely seen in political and legal arenas. Her death was like a huge political football fumbled at the goal line, rolling around with both sides scrambling to take control of the ball. Both sides knowing whoever gains control will likely be the winner of the game, the presidency. Both Democrats and Republicans claim they should have the right to nominate the successor for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Both teams point a hypocritical finger at each other, though. Just a little more than 4 years ago, Justice Antonin Scalia died suddenly while hunting in Colorado. President Obama immediately nominated Merrick Garland to fill Scalia's seat. The problem for Obama and the Dems was that the Senate was in Republican hands. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and the GOP-led Senate decided against confirming Obama's pick and waited for the incoming President Trump to nominate his pick, Neil Gorsuch, to fill Scalia's seat. The Dems went wild. Joe Biden said that was wrong and that the seat the president had the right to nominate the judge, even if it was in the final days of his presidency.
That I would go forward with the confirmation process as chairman, even a few months before a presidential election, if the nominee were chosen with the advice and not merely the consent of the Senate.
In fairness, Senate Republicans back then said the opposite.
I want you to use my words against me. If there's a Republican president in 2016 and a vacancy occurs in the last year of the first term, you can say, Lindsey Graham said, let's let the next president, whoever it might be, make that nomination, and you could use my words against me, and you'd be absolutely right.
This time around, both sides flipped their positions. McConnell says there will be a confirmation, and Dems are livid. Folks, this is the ugly underbelly of the D.C. swamp. These politicians have short memories. They have no shame flipping on positions they vehemently and aggressively defended just a couple of years ago. It's really ugly, but that's who we elect. Men and women who care more about their re-elections than the good of the country. Speaking of the good of the country, personally, I don't give a rip about the politicians' political aspirations or careers. They'd sell their mothers out for the next donor. In the end, we should stop listening to these charlatans and go to the final decider on all things legal in America. The actual rule book to issues so divisive our elected officials shamelessly contradict their own words. Here's what the Constitution says. The seated president, no matter when, during his presidency is granted the power to nominate a Supreme Court vacancy replacement. And the Senate at the time will confirm or reject the nominee. Period. End of story. That's why every other time in history, and there have been many, the president and his same party has seated this president's nominee in the last year of his presidential term. That's what's happened every time. The president of the same party also held the Senate gavel. The justice has been placed. Only once did it not happen, and that was only due to a last-minute ethics violation by the confirmed nominee. So you see, it doesn't matter who said what 4 years ago or which side are bigger hypocrites. By the way, both sides are giant hypocrites. The only thing that really matters is the law, the Constitution. That means, given the 53-47 GOP majority, the precedent of history and the Constitution, it's highly likely Trump will get his nominee confirmed, and the court will be conservative for a long time. Personally, I believe Trump, being solely responsible for a conservative Supreme Court for the foreseeable future, just won himself 4 more years. And for those of you who love RBG and respect her for being so fair and honest, like me, I leave you with this.
The president is elected for 4 years, not 3 years, so the power that he has in year 3 continues into year 4, and maybe some members of the Senate will wake up and appreciate that that's how it should be.
Thank you, Justice Ginsburg. You are a true American icon.